ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
Welcome to another edition of Talk Show Kings. Oh, I'm not king at all.
Hold on, D. Joe Biden?
D. Joe Biden.
And the thing about what the CDC is saying now is that once these tests are allocated to the people that need the test, those numbers are going to skyrocket it.
We can do that. Hey, you can go to Egypt, but you better have your little black ass back on this porch. Hey, stand like that. Street light come on. You ain't there.
If I give my woman 100% and she hurts me, see, I ain't got nothing to give nobody else because she's taking it all.
Hey family, how you doing? Welcome back to another edition of Talk Show Kings, where we bring it to you live and raw. Hey, we got to give you what you need to have. We gonna talk to you today, having big fun out in
TV 1061, Douglasville, Georgia.
Yeah, we want to give a shout out to our executive producer, Mr. Felix Washington, out in the back. Hey, Big Felix, we see you. We thank you for everything. We want to give a shout out to Miss Shante Barksdale, who does our social media and gets us out there.
Thank
but
you,
with no
Shante.
further ado, let us jump into these topics. Now, y'all know that I have nothing against Deputy Doofus. Nothing against President Trump. And that lets you know how I really feel about it. But what I'm trying to say is people are talking about Joe Biden's past recently. Now, I'm not sure if you gentlemen are familiar, but Joe Biden was a segregationist back in the 70s.
So I've heard.
He wanted the races segregated. He was against school busing. He was against segregating, period. Okay.
So basically, that he was all absolutely.
He was against integrating. He was for segregating. I apologize. Thank you for the.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. But can a person change that, or is that their inner character? Because I believe 40 years. 40 years ago I was 8. So, but I'm saying, I'm definitely. I'm not the same person I was 4 years ago.
Right.
So 40 years ago, can a person change? Or are some things just in our character and in us? You know what I'm saying?
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Please do.
With the way things are going right now.
Right.
I'm not so sure I can even be mad for him wanting to keep things segregated, because I mean, if you look at it as of right now, look how they treat us. Look how they treat black people. Look how they tried from way back when. Remember when they used to build those suburbs out there, way out in the suburbs, they build the houses, and they used to put in the clause that they didn't want
redlining.
They didn't want black people renting or buying the houses.
Right.
That's how they ended up with all those nice neighborhoods, and we ended up in the ghettos and I'm not being funny, but man, I would have rather have had I would have rather been separate and been treated great by my own people than to have to do with this here.
Right.
So,
Now, I let you talk. No, I let you. You're a grown man. I ain't going to try to say But I disagree with that fundamental argument, because I don't believe that you can judge all shade of people by the acts of some. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that all people wanted things to be the way they were. I just feel like people get comfortable, especially when they're treated with, if they're treated better. Like the white privilege thing. I think back in the day, people were uncomfortable with it, but they didn't want things to change, and they get treated like black people. Like I'm not sure what is the comedian's name, but he asked his crowd, do you see anything different between white people and black people? And most didn't see anything. And he said, well, everybody who would trade places with a black person, raise your hand. None of them did.
Exactly.
Well, if none of them did, that let you know that they saw a difference.
They did.
Now, I'm not saying that things are great by any stretch of imagination, but I'm saying that we have to take it on an individual basis. You know?
Well, me personally,
Yes.
I think that there's only one person that was considered the same today and the same yesterday, and that's Jesus Christ. Of course, anybody can change. And if Joe Biden can change from the segregation mind that he had, and you got to think, the Brown versus the Board of Education, how many years ago?
That was
Many years ago. So much has happened since then. Now imagine if the change has happened, even dealing with that this one individual, even working under a black president as he had, he's gained so much knowledge from Obama, you know, hopefully that is, that the change can reoccur. But there's a lot of things that he's saying that kind of worries me, like the comments that he made about black people and Hispanic people when he said that Hispanic people are more, I want to say use the word more advanced, but he was saying that the Hispanic people are in a better position than blacks are. And it kind of worried me, you know, as far as he is concerned.
Man, I got to tell you, you said there's one person that's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Put the makeup to
Right?
your makeup.
You said
mic
there's
up to your mouth.
there's, you know, look, even in the Bible it says Jesus had hair like wool, you know what I'm saying? Skin like bronze.
Right.
But somehow, some way or another, we got this blonde haired, blue eyed image that's over all these things. So again, it's we say, okay, well look, here they are, and they didn't want to integrate with us, right? They did not want to integrate with us. Yet and still, somehow, they changed everything.
Because you say
They changed
they,
the- they
but see,
changed
to
the
me,
way
they
Jesus
is too vague.
Right.
Huh?
They is too vague.
Okay.
Because if you really go into it, there is no such thing as race. That's a farce. All people are black people. You can't get, if you study genes, brown skin, dark skin is dominant. You cannot get dominant from recessive.
You can't.
If there was only, if the white race of white people started, there would never be black people because you can't get them from us. Two jet black, two
You're right.
extremely dark black people can have a blonde-haired,
You can.
blue-eyed baby
You can.
because it's inside of us. Now, it's extremely rare, but it happens.
It happens.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I got a question
Please.
before we get away from the
Yeah.
topic. So if Biden were to come out and say, I am still in favor of segregation, who's the better candidate for you guys?
Right.
Joe
Wow,
Biden
that's
or,
great.
or
That's a
Donald
great
Trump?
question.
Because your original question was
Yes.
20 years ago or 40 years
Right,
ago, he was
right.
a segregationist.
Right.
If you, and obviously he cannot come out today and say, I'm still a segregationist.
Right.
That just wouldn't work. But let's say he did. Who would be the better candidate for you guys?
If he
there is
came
no
out
way.
and said that he did,
Yeah.
And can I add something
Go
to my
ahead.
point? What's so bad, and I know this is going to be confrontational, but what's so bad about segregation? Why can't we have our own? What's so bad about a
Right.
president coming along saying, you know what, we're going to put the black people in this community and let them do their thing, and we're going to put these people in this community? Because obviously integration has not worked out in our favor. Historically, you guys all
I'm
know.
loving your conversation
Historically,
right
you guys all know that the black community during segregationist times,
I do know.
we did fantastically
I do.
for
Right. They had the
ourselves.
black-
we
they
had our
considered
own
Black Wall
businesses,
Street. Right.
Black
Tulsa,
Wall
Oklahoma.
Street.
Yeah.
We took care of our own.
and
Therefore,
they burnt it to the ground.
but do you think
behind
that
the
they would
white
happen
woman's
today?
statement,
No,
behind
I
the
don't
white lady
think.
line.
I don't think it will happen today. In my point is that with growth there comes diversity.
Okay.
And for a long time, we have tried to build neighborhoods, and we have tried to put the black dollar back in the neighborhood. But for whatever certain reason, it just does not work for us. And so they've added the diversity when you have a black barber shop and you have a Chinese grocery store and you have a white-owned liquor store. formed in a community, it seems to be working. Why is that?
I don't necessarily think that it seems to be working. I just think we're
Well, it
brainwashed.
is working because it's on every corner now.
But that's
almost.
That's not working
Yeah.
for the community. That's working in that people spending money there, but that
Okay.
money's not being recycled in the community.
Of course it's not.
Now,
You
when
said-
Trevor was what Trevor was saying about before
Right.
segregation, I agree 100%. However, we've seen that when we allow the government to say, okay, we can be here or we can be there, then the funds that they get from us is not allocated back to us. We don't get the upgraded school books, the upgraded schools, the classrooms with any kind
Here's the-
yeah, exactly. With,
Here's the thing.
Even heated and air, they don't keep up with that. Now,
If-
I still think it's a Jim Crow law. Hold on just a moment, please. I still think that it's a Jim Crow law in place when they say that the taxes in a community is the money that goes to the school.
Right.
So more affluent communities who who
have a larger
money-
tax base.
Exactly.
Get
Then-
all the money.
Exactly. Their schools are going to be better. The property itself is going to be kept up. Look at gentrification that's happening around Atlanta right now.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
It's improving.
Remember what we were saying? And I just said earlier when they used to put that clause in those housing in the paperwork for the housing, you couldn't sell
That's how the
or rent
GI
to
Bill
black
started.
people.
Right,
Now that's how a lot of those white people had all of those nice neighborhoods, and where we lived was considered the ghetto, the projects, or whatever. Right now. If Biden came out and said that he was for segregation, would I vote for him? Right?
Well, he said who would be the better candidate.
I absolutely believe that Biden would be the candidate if he said that for me. Because here's the thing: what I don't like for someone to sit up there and notice something, right? Notice something is wrong,
Right.
and just stand there and do nothing about it.
Coronavirus.
Now, here's the thing. Look right now. The man has said all types of bigoted
Lord
things.
Jesus. Ain't that-
And people they're still trying to sing him praises. What was the lady, Laura Ingraham?
Now, the man
No,
you're referring
listen,
to. Wait,
Laura
I'm saying
Yeah.
to be specific. When you say the man, we need to know who you're talking about.
Oh, Great Pumpkin, Trump, Donald,
Thank
that
you.
one.
Because I don't know if you see,
Listen,
but they're
the
trying
man,
to say everything.
but
Donald Trump did
what was the lady,
Biden.
Laura Ingraham, when she was there speaking at the convention, she did this right here, when she went and was waving like this, right? She did a Nazi salute and tried to sneak it in and did this right here. Same way she did it on TV, people brushed it off, they let it go, and she's
Right.
still on Fox, she's still
Well, you know,
hosting the
one of
Ingram
the- one
Angle.
of the big people
She's
on-
doing a lot of stuff,
one
so
of the
that's what I'm
great
saying. When
people
you
on
see
both sides.
people do stuff like that, but you say nothing about it, you say there's plenty there are good people on both sides. When these people trying to run people over and kill them and stuff like that, man, listen. I would rather Joe Biden come out and say that he's for segregation than to have somebody pretend that they're against segregation, but let us be killed.
I don't think
As long
he's
as
against.
Kamala
I
Harris-
don't think he's against segregation anymore. From just listening to his speeches and then to pick the vice president to run on the ticket with him, I don't think he is anymore.
Well, as long as Kamala Harris in there,
Yeah.
when you were talking about what's wrong with segregation, I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
At all.
I really don't. However, if it is, then I would like for it to be, I would like for the money allocated to government, the taxes that are collected in each area, to be able to go back to that area. I don't want it to be where, the 40 acres and a mule really happened. They gave people, they
Yeah,
gave
40 acres and a mule,
Africans,
yeah.
Former slaves, 48, not all, but some
Not
40
all
acres
of
and a
them.
mule.
Yeah, that's right.
Then they decided no. And they came and took those 40 acres and a mule and any livestock they had because Negroes were not allowed to have that at the time. So, I mean, I can't say that. The thing about segregation is as long as they have the military, as long as the military's there, we need things to be integrated. Because I don't want people coming in trying to take things.
Question.
Right.
The original question seemed to be, who's the better candidate? Joe
Biden
Biden,
to me.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, of course.
I'm on the fence. Okay.
Right.
Are you really?
Let's assume I'm on the fence. That's my point.
Yeah.
Let's assume I'm on
Okay.
the fence.
Okay.
I want you gentlemen to convince me why Joe Biden is the better candidate than Donald Trump. Tell me what is it that Joe Biden stands for that makes you guys think, wow, this guy's going to be a great president. He's going to stand
Okay,
for me. He's going to help.
okay,
What
that's
exactly is it that he stands for that makes you feel that this guy should be the next president
Right.
of the United
Now,
States. I don't know.
The reason that I feel that Joe Biden is a much better candidate than Trump is because, one, Joe Biden is a polished politician. Barack Obama picked Joe Biden because he was the most conservative Democrat out there. He worked with Republicans while he was a Democrat. He did a lot of things cross the yard. So Obama picked him in order to try to smooth things out because he knew the resistance he was going to have.
Okay, so your first reason is because Joe Biden is a polished politician. This is what I'm trying to understand. Okay.
Yes. Now,
okay.
by polished politician, I mean he has experience. Joe Biden wouldn't make the mistakes that Trump makes in ignoring ignoring intelligence briefings. The intelligence community has come out on numerous of times, saying that they have to have pictures for Trump, that he won't listen to certain things. I don't see that in Biden. And I think that Biden would try to be fair across the board.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing that I don't see with Trump.
What does the intelligence community and what they have to say, or what's going on the international playground, what does that have to do with your life directly?
With Russia colluding in our election, that deals with my life directly because they're trying to decide who is going to be president. And we have to decide what we're going to say when we come back from break because we got to go to break right now. Thank you for tuning in with us, fellas. We'll be We'll be right back. And I'm going to give some shout out to our people who are watching, and we appreciate you and we want to thank you.
Hi, I'm Chief Gary Sparks with the Douglasville Police Department. Today we want to give you some safety tips concerning traffic stops. Take a look.
So you look in your rear view mirror and see flashing blue lights. What do? Remain calm. Yield to the right and pull your vehicle over into an off-road area that is safe for both you and the officer. Put your car in park. Remove your foot from the brake and turn the radio off. Remain in your vehicle. Have your driver's license readily available for the officer. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, visible for the officer at all times. If you need to retrieve any items from the interior, explain what you're reaching for to the officer and avoid any sudden movements. Rolling the window down completely establishes a level of trust with the officer and allows for ease of interaction during the routine traffic stop. Be courteous and polite. Be cooperative and willing to follow the officer's instructions. During a routine traffic stop, the officer will return to his vehicle to run the tag and driver's license verification and complete a citation if one is necessary. Once the officer returns and approaches your vehicle, whether or not a citation or warning is issued, please remain calm, courteous, and cooperative. Sign the citation acknowledging you agree to appear in court, and do not dispute the citation with the officer. The officer will give you a court date to explain or defend your infraction.
Okay, ma'am. Like I told you, I did clock you at 51 in a 35 mile per hour speed zone. I did issue a citation, okay? This here is going to be your court date. I just need a signature from you stating that you received a copy of this citation, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Here's your driver license.
Thank you.
Along with a copy of the citation, okay? Do you have any questions or concerns for me?
No, sir.
Okay, well, you have a nice day, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
too.
you.
Following these few simple steps will help ensure a safe interaction for both you and the officer.
I hope these few tips help you as it relates to dealing with law enforcement and traffic stops. Not only in traffic stops, but in all encounters with law enforcement. We hope that all our encounters are safe for the citizens as well as for our officers. Again, we want you to be safe, and if you have any problems with the Douglasville Police Department, don't hesitate to give us a call and make your concerns known. I would add that Georgia is a right to carry state, and we hope that if you are carrying, that on these traffic stops and all encounters, please let the officer know that you are carrying. This will ensure your safety and our officers' safety. Thank you, may God bless you, and may God keep our community safe. We are one.
Man, you won't believe. Oh, we back. Okay, how y'all doing out there? Okay. Now, when we left, Trevor had asked an excellent question. He said, no, he didn't ask a question. He made a proposal. He said, okay, he's not a Biden or a Trump fan. Convince him why Biden is better than Trump. Now, I mentioned a few things about Biden, but really my disdain for Trump. And it's not a personal disdain. I have nothing against the man personally. I do think he should go to jail if he does the criminality that I believe he's doing. But I answered. Now I want to go to King Mel and have him answer.
My answer for that is plain and simple.
Your answer for what?
Biden would still be my choice, right? Because if he came out and said that he was segregated, he was for segregation, should I say, right? A guy like that, I'm for that. That's your honesty speaking right there.
Right.
That is your honesty. He's not afraid to take a chance. He chose a black woman as his vice president, right? To run with his campaign. That's not being afraid to take a chance. You have never seen a person run for office and pick a black woman as the vice president. You know, that right there lets me know that, listen, you're not afraid to go down that road less traveled. You get me? Things like that, when it comes time to make decisions, that lets me know that you're gonna be, hey, look, I'm gonna really look at this and I'm going to make the best decision. I'm not gonna make the popular decision.
Right.
I'm not gonna listen to someone else's opinion about this. I am going to get right up in the face of this and I'm going to handle business.
Thank you, sir.
That right there, that would do it for me. You
Thank
see,
you, sir. I appreciate
right now
that.
we have someone in the office who is making a complete mockery
Amen.
of the system that we have over here.
Yeah, Constitution and everything.
And look how the country's going.
King
We have over
I'm sorry.
200 and some thousand people
Right.
dead.
Right.
Because this guy chose to act like a man-child in office.
Well, he chose not
A
to do
baby.
anything.
Yeah.
Somebody
Absolutely.
swallow him, please.
Absolutely.
King Lundy, what's your
For
opinion?
many years, I voted on the Democratic ticket.
Okay.
And the reason why I voted on the Democratic ticket is because Mama and them voted on the Democratic ticket.
Thank you for your
And my grandmother them voted on the Democratic ticket. And people around me in my community voted on the Democratic ticket because I felt that the Democratic ticket was for black people. This is our way to express ourselves on the Democratic ticket. Now, I would definitely pick and choose Joe Biden, simply because on that same demographic ticket was Obama. Under the leadership of Obama, I feel that I can trust Joe Biden with a lot of ideals, a lot of things that he's setting in place for my people, for black people.
Okay.
And he said some things that he's going to do, which a lot of politicians say, well, when I get in office, I'm going to do this and I promise you this. I truly believe in my heart that when Joe Biden gets into office, he's going to do the things that he said he was going to do. And I think it'll help us in our generation to come. As long as he's in office, I feel comfortable with him. And that's why Trevor, to answer your question, I would definitely give him my vote.
Thank you, sir. Now, Trevor, hold
Yes,
on
sir.
just a
Yes,
moment,
sir.
because
Yes,
I
sir.
want to pose your same question to you, sir, or your same stance.
Okay.
Who do you feel like is the better candidate and why? If you feel like either candidate is better.
Well, I am not too deeply invested in the political process, to be completely honest with you. My feeling is that regardless of who is in office, it's going to be my responsibility to make a life and create a life for myself and my family and my loved ones, regardless of who is or isn't in office. I'm going to have to wake up every day and take the responsibility upon myself to create my own life, regardless of who is in office. My belief is that if I vote for somebody,
Right.
it sort of is a vote of me taking my power from my own life out of my hands and putting that power in somebody's hands who does not know me and whom I don't know, and investing my energy in them, hoping that they are able to create some kind of wonderful life or create some kind of wonderful situation for me to prosper in. And I don't like the idea of investing my energy into any candidate, especially in a corrupt political system where whomever gets in office is going to be bought and paid for by lobbyists, corporations, organizations. At some point, they're going to have to compromise their ideals in order to stay in favor in office. And once they've done that, they might just be, they might just be corrupting my situation for having to stay in power. So, I don't know who the better candidate is. What I do know is whomever gets voted in, Trevor David Houchin is going to have to do for Trevor David Houchin on a daily basis.
No.
So if I can be completely honest with you and transparent, and I don't mind doing that, I don't care who wins.
Right, absolutely.
On election day, whomever is announced president, I know I'm going to have to get up and create some sort of work, some sort of income for myself, regardless of who it is, regardless of who it isn't, regardless of what they say, regardless of what they don't say. So I don't invest myself in the political process because I don't want to be indebted to the president, and I don't want my emotional stability attached to some man that I don't know.
I just think that to me, that right there is a two-edged sword. Because you're on the one hand, you're right. What you said is absolutely right. No. But on the other side, no, what he said is absolutely right. But on the other hand, right? Because he's right.
No,
you're putting people. You vote. You put someone in office. They are paid for by these lobbyists, these corporations, and the thing is that what you said on how you feel about that, there is some truth to that. However, if you don't vote, right, you're also leaving it the chance that somebody else is going to vote and put someone in that is going to completely shatter your life, because whatever policies they put in place, right? Whatever policies they put in place in office are going to affect you some way, somehow or the other. Whether it be your job, whether it be financially, whether it comes to, whether or not you're able to carry your firearm and everything else. However, the system it's really messed up. You got to think about it. You have the electoral collegiate vote,
Come on,
right?
now, let me chime in.
You have, hold on.
I need to get into this.
You have the electoral collegiate vote, right? Set up. And this is how it goes. You have, like I said, you play football. You have never won a football game. You have never been up and won by 17 at the end of the clock and still lose the game. That's impossible.
Okay.
The electoral collegiate vote is set up to do just that, right? Popular vote went to Hillary Clinton last time, right? She won by over 3 million votes. But she lost because of the electoral collegiate. So Florida, Texas, California, New York, all of these states hold the most power when it comes to getting the electoral collegiate vote. So no matter what you do, even if you lose, you can still win. So it doesn't matter.
That's
so
correct
I get what you're saying.
and incorrect at the same time. The electoral colleges were set up basically because slaves were counted as three-fifths of a person, and the slave owners didn't want slaves to vote, but they still wanted their population to count. So they did the electoral colleges so their vote will weigh more. If we get rid of the electoral colleges altogether, then if you won the states with the largest population, the rest of the country doesn't matter. That's what people are afraid of. However, back to what you were saying. As an African American, we are the only people in the United States that have had laws that prevented us from prospering.
Sure. Redlining,
exactly.
No bank loans. Absolutely.
And it can go back to that if we aren't careful. Therefore, to me, voting is essential. However, we don't understand that we need to vote every time the polls open. Not just for the president, but for the Congress, for the House and the Senate, which is Congress, for city officials. We need to vote for the sheriffs. Think about this. Donald Trump won't even admit that there's racial inequality in America. How can you not see that? How can you be here and not see when we're being slaughtered? How can you sit here and tell me that there's can
I ask a question? I wanted to ask King Mel a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You mentioned policies.
Yeah.
Explain to me, any of you gentlemen can, tell me one policy that Joe Biden has announced, come out in favor of, that you think would benefit you as a black man?
Now,
Tell me what it is.
No, I'm like you. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm really not following the election, the candidates right now. I don't believe that Joe Biden is probably the best candidate. I want to say he's the best candidate, right? But I also know he's better than what we have now.
Now let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Joe Biden, can I answer that question?
Absolutely.
Joe Biden has already said that he wants to implement quick testing, rapid testing for COVID.
Absolutely.
Rapid testing and the thing where they're following people, where they go and see contacting. Exactly. He said that he wants to do that immediately. He's also looking at, do we need to do another lockdown and give out stimulus? Because when New York did their serious lockdown, they got rid of 70% of the cases of COVID in 3 weeks. They got rid of 70%. So we're talking about saving people's lives. People don't really realize what a herd immunity is, and we can go into that if you like, but I don't want to take up all the time. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
Did you have something to say?
Yeah, the most important thing that Joe Biden is doing, and he showed you all that when he chose Kamala Harris to be his running mate. The most key essential thing that Joe Biden is telling women, that he's going to push more for women's rights. And women's right plays a high role on what it is that he wants to do. And going through, and I have been fighting the campaign, if he continues to push women's rights, that could very easily push him straight into the White House. But to get back to Trevor, and I understand, you know, people feel a certain way about doing certain things in life. And if he don't want to vote, if he chooses to vote, that's one thing. Me personally, I would say vote, because when you don't vote, what that does is it compromises the integrity of the whole voting system, which we struggled so hard to fight just to vote.
This is true, but on the other hand,
I want to get to.
On the other hand, you're right. I could see how a person would think that you know, my choice not to vote compromises the integrity of the entire system, and also, you know, pulls into question, you know, the entire black race and what we fought for to be able to get that right. I can understand
that. But that's just my opinion.
That's fine.
You know, you got
but on the other hand, my feeling is, you know, as an independent human being and as an American, you know, that's available to make my own choice.
Absolutely.
My choice is to not be a part of it. And that's my choice, and that's just exactly as valid as the flip side.
Right.
Well, no, I can't disagree with you as far as the validity. However, the consequences of it can be catastrophic. But let me get to some of our watchers.
Yes, sir.
Lance, thank you for watching. Carla Hudson, PS Park. Carla Hudson, thank you for watching. She says, amen. I'm not sure to what point. Marty Page, hey, Marty, thank you for watching. Artie Johnson, Arthur Johnson. Dolores Martin, thank you for watching. Dolores, hello, Kings, we see you. Dolores says, that's right. Now, who you saying that's right to? Because I'm getting to my comments a little late. Shamika White, hey, Mika. Dolores Martin says she's watching. PS Martin says, amen again. I wish I could have got to these comments. Shamika White says, people die for you to vote, no matter who you vote for. Exactly. You look at those films of Martin Luther King and those on being bitten by dogs and fire hose and stuff. However, my biggest thing is the effect that if we don't get into politics and let other people run it, those laws that they pass affect us directly.
Okay.
Right.
I get it. People die for us to vote. I get it, right? Let's just say we decided to let every human being that's in the United States right now that's counted vote, right? Even if everybody voted, black people are still only going to account for 13% of the vote. What I'm saying is, even with the electoral collegiate system that they have in place, it's set up that no matter what you can lose and still win. And that's how we ended up with this piece of trash we have right now, because he won the electoral collegiate vote and lost the popular vote. And right now, we have people dying because of the electoral collegiate process. 200,000 because of the electoral collegiate process. You can't win and lose at the same time.
The talk show kings can't die, but we do have to go to break.
God, dang it.
We'll be right back in just a moment, okay? Thank you for watching Talk Show Kings.
Are you an artist, a writer of spoken word? Do you have content ready but need exposure? Get to know me. I'm Alicia, host of a new Facebook live stream show called The Flavor, where we promote local and international talent of all genres. Here are some rules and regulations to the videos that we'll be accepting. They must be radio ready, no cursing, no lewd language. You must send us contact information as well as a YouTube link to your video so we can extract it from there. Email us at 1061tv@gmail.com, and we thank you for your time.
Welcome to Burke's Jewelry. How may I help you?
We're looking for engagement rings.
We offer a wide selection. However, I believe we have just what you're looking for. Burke's Jeweler is your family's jeweler at 491 Flat Shoals Avenue Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30316 in East Atlanta Village.
What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of Talk Show Kings. Oh, I'm not king at all.
Hold on, D. Joe Biden?
D. Joe Biden.
And the thing about what the CDC is saying now is that once these tests are allocated to the people that need the test, those numbers are going to skyrocket it.
We can do that. Hey, you can go to Egypt, but you better have your little black ass back on this board. Hey, stand like that. Street light come on. You ain't there. If I give my woman 100% and she hurts me, see, I ain't got nothing to give nobody else because she's taking it all.
Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. We got to kind of close out this topic because we have other topics that we need to address. But I would like to thank you, Kings, for the conversation. Is awesome.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Most
now,
definitely.
the next topic was...
I think it was my topic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in Kentucky, about a week ago, a 31-year-old sister got shot and killed by her boyfriend. 31-year-old sister. Same week, 22-year-old sister in Baton Rouge.
Now, he's not saying that this is the physical sister because they're in Kentucky or nothing.
No.
Don't think he's
I'm saying, a black
African American female. I don't want people to think he's something he says because of Kentucky or nothing.
Go ahead.
Okay, right.
Yeah, when I say sister, I mean our sisters, black woman. In Baton Rouge, 22-year-old sister got shot by her boyfriend, killed. In Massachusetts, pregnant sister got shot in her head. She didn't die, but shot in her head by ex-boyfriend. In Baltimore, 24-year-old shot two women, two sisters. And in Minnesota, 23-year-old sister got shot and her 2-year-old daughter killed by ex-boyfriend. In all these circumstances, the familiar or the
common denominator.
The common denominator is ex-boyfriends killing, shooting ex-girlfriends. My question today, fellas, is why do brothers go crazy, get violent, get abusive when their women don't want them no more? Why? And beyond that, why do we allow our brothers to do that, to behave in such a way, to act out in that way? Too often, if a brother said, admits to another brother, hey, I just did this crazy thing to my ex-girlfriend, what have you, that one brother will, hey man, what happened? What did she do to you? Rather than, why did you act out in such a violent, crazy way? Why do brothers act so crazy when their women leave them?
I don't think that it's just a brother thing. I'm gonna tell you, we say brother and we say sister because that's what's familiar to us. But that's what we know, right? But even if we brought the Bible into it, right? It tells you even in the Bible, it says, a jealous man is the closest thing to an insane man as you're gonna get, because when you act jealous, when jealousy sets in, your mind doesn't operate the same way as if you were to sit down rationally thinking. If I sit down right now, if you had a female, right now, you say your woman was out there, and then your woman was blatantly just standing out there flirting or touching on another man, right? You don't your mind is you're gonna get angry as hell because you're like, it's the disrespect, just the audacity, the nerve to actually do that. Not even thinking about your feelings or how it's gonna affect your relationship or whatever the case may be. Now, I'm not agreeing with what the brothers did by far. No, you don't need to do that. You definitely don't need to go there. But sometimes, man, you have to understand everybody does not operate the same. They're not. Yeah, some people are gonna talk. Some people are gonna act out. Period.
Now,
all right, King Lundy.
To piggyback off of what King Mel is saying.
Might talk a little loud because.
Okay, to piggyback off what King Mel is saying, I have ministered to men, a lot of men, and the most important thing that I've ministered to them about is control. Men love to control women to the point where what they wear, how they talk, where they go, what time to come back. They have to have that control, and when women give men that control, they're giving themselves away. But when they try to rebuke that control from a controller that you've already given control to, it's hard. And it's hard for you to give a baby candy and then eventually start trying to wean the baby off the candy. The baby's gonna cry and cry till he gets that candy. When an abuser, and that's what I'm gonna call them, an abuser is in control and that control is being withdrawn from him, then they lash out and they begin to attack and beat and just take a woman's, when you take a woman's heart, you've just about taken everything she's got. Because when she gives you that, then she has nothing else to give you. So men, women too, they can be just as ruthless as men can be.
Exactly.
And don't say that they can't, because you have women that abuse as well.
You've seen Snapped, right?
No,
you've seen Snapped.
But sure, there are women that are abusers, but that's not today's
That's not the topic. Exactly.
Today's topic is why do we allow ourselves to lose control to the degree that you said, and to use anger as an excuse for violence and abuse? Why do we allow ourselves those excuses? I have been in several situations in my own personal relationships where I got too angry, I went too crazy, I said and might have done some things that I regretted later, but later it's too late.
We all
exactly.
have.
How? So here's my question.
We all have.
How do we avoid getting in that situation where we are abusive and violent? Well, let's talk about that as opposed to why we get that way. Let's talk about how we can avoid becoming that way.
Alicia Jones says, thank you for addressing this, Trevor David Huchin. Black men must absolutely hold other black men accountable. Black men are the #1 threat to black women, and Brother Malcolm said it best. We are still the most mistreated and disrespected. Shake my head. Angie, hey Angie, thank you for watching. Angela Smith Gorham says, some of it is cyclical. You've seen it in your home, so you perpetuate what you've seen. I agree, Angie. Now, my comment, and please don't be offended by, I'm not speaking of anybody. We have some bitch-made men. My father raised me. He was a single-parent father. Kenneth Moore Sr., I appreciate you. You know, you did your thing. But I went through HE double hockey sticks in my ex-marriage. I'm not going to down her. She's the mother of my children, so, you know, she cooks great. I'll leave it at that. But there was once upon a time when I called my dad when I was at my wit's end. And I was really thinking of getting violent because I felt like that all the talking I'm doing is not doing anything. I'm talking while I'm being hit. I'm talking while you're tearing up my house, while you're kicking my car, while you're doing things that, you know, you're doing things to get at me. And I'm not responding to you violently. I'm trying to talk to you, trying to get this behavior to stop. But the behavior wasn't stopped. And in the time, I didn't love myself enough to just leave. I felt like that if I left, once my oldest daughter was born, then there was no, I'm going to leave the relationship because I know some of the torment that women go through in life, and I was determined for my daughter to not go through that. So I was going to be there for her. Now, I felt like if I left my ex, then my daughter would suffer for that. and I didn't want that. So I stayed in some pretty horrific stuff, and I should have left. My daughters actually told me I should have left. Now, the way that we avoid it is by being in young men's lives. I have 2 nephews that I talk to, I ain't gonna say daily, but quite often. And one of them even has PTSD. And I talk to them about your temper, about your idea of what a woman's place is, what a man's place is. I try to joke with them a lot, try to, be friends, but at the same note, I'm mentoring while I'm doing it. The biggest thing with us is I've been to anger management 6 times, okay? Now, women, they can get away with stuff. A man couldn't at the time, especially when I went into the military because I was thrown off. But the biggest thing I took from anger management is that anger doesn't go from here to here. There are steps in between. There's a thing called the visceral state where you just see red. I've reached that a few times in my life. And at that time, you can become just an animal. You're out of control and you're thinking hurt because you're hurt. Well, once you see things rising, you cut it off. Whatever you have to do. If you have to turn around and walk off.
That was my question. Okay. How do you cut it off?
Okay.
Yeah. You're in the home.
Change the conversation.
You're in a home environment.
Change the conversation. Don't say anything. It takes 2 people to argue.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question. All right. And I'm going to use my own personal life.
Run it.
Right now. Right here.
Come on, run it.
Okay.
We run out of time.
You said, why do we get to that state, right? How do we let ourselves get to that state? Right now, my son is 2.5 years old, right? My son's mother left when my son was 4 months old. I didn't see him for 8. She came back. We weren't together, but I went all the way up to Kansas to get him, right? Drove him back down here. Boom. Then I didn't see. Then I had my son last year for Father's Day, right? She came and picked my son up early, angered that I had another child behind my son, but it has nothing to, my daughter has nothing to do with you. Then I didn't see my son again for another 8 months, right? Mm-hmm. She let me see him starting again in the beginning of April. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen my son now in going on almost 5 months. My son is only 2.5 years old. So basically what I'm telling you is sometimes you get to that point because your buttons have been pushed beyond measure. You know what it's like to not be able to see your child that you love.
However,
but you don't know where this child is.
Right
now I don't know the address,
system?
but you can say take the legal system, right? You say take the legal system, go there, take the legal system, go to court, fight.
But
you will fight. Some people have been fighting for 15, 20 years, and this legal system keeps screwing them over. This is money they've kicked out that they could have used to take care of their child, start a college fund, been on trips with, anything. People have kicked. One person I was talking to in a group on Facebook has spent over $100,000 fighting for their child in court, and they still don't have their child.
Does that make you angry?
It makes me angry.
That just make you angry enough to want to do something to it?
Listen, I have had some very bad thoughts, but the reason I won't act behind that is because I know what it's like. I lost my mom, my biological mom, when I was 13. Mm-hmm. You get me? So I don't want my children to have to grow up with one parent like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not feeling like, my mom's been dead 28 years. Mm-hmm. I have kids and she'll never see them. Yeah. I can't ever say you want to go, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't ever do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But nobody's promised tomorrow. Yeah. And when you're treating my child or my children like this today, anything can happen. And then they're without the father. Right. Why? Because you did what you wanted to do. Right. And you push people's buttons sometimes. I'm not going to go kill her, but I'm saying sometimes it's...
Sometimes people will use a child to hurt you. And we got to use this break to do what we do. But we'll be right back, okay? Don't tune out. Angie, I see your comments. I'm going to get to them when we come back from break.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom, Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom, Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives.
Hi, I'm Michael Cowyer, funniest man on the planet, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network. Stay tuned, because that's how they do it over here. Big time party. All right, see y'all later. Bye.
And then they had, oh, we back? Okay, yeah. Welcome back, family. Okay, I want to address a few comments. Angela Smith Gorham. Hey, Jody, Angie, Amari, Jordan. Jordan looked fly in that Marine uniform, I'm just saying. Okay, where was I going? Angie says, okay, we already read that one. We have to show our youth and children what love looks like. I agree 100%. Real love isn't abuse. And it's not physical, verbal, or emotion. It's not just, abuse is not just physical. It's verbal and emotion as well. Please continue to mentor. Fellas, we got to mentor. Facts, hurt people hurt people. That's so sad. I dislike women who use children as pawns. That's on. Mine doing the same thing. I hadn't seen my daughters in years. They need to get over being bitter with the relationship being over. It's no longer about you. It's about the child. If people knew that, Angie, thank you. Okay, Trevor, you were speaking?
Well, okay, so we're talking about abusive men, how men act out, show out when their women decide that they don't want to be with them anymore.
We kind of drifted off.
And we didn't really drift off. We talked about, we sort of went into why men get to feel this way. And what I wanted to talk about was what we can do to avoid getting ourselves in that position to begin with.
Okay.
And some solutions. What you can do when you start to feel like you about to do something stupid.
Do you need a minute? Because there's a few things I would like to address.
Go right ahead.
When I say we have bitch-made men, what I mean is that when as a young male in Atlanta, I was taught the only emotions you can show is anger and happiness. You weren't allowed to cry. You weren't allowed to be hurt.
That's
if
terrible.
your leg broke, rub some dirt on it and go play.
That's terrible.
Go take a nap.
Right.
We weren't allowed to do that. So as growing up, then to this day, I can't tell a woman you hurt my feelings. That just won't sit right in my soul. That just does not feel right to me.
Well, you remember a couple weeks ago, my topic was why aren't men allowed to express their emotions?
Yes, exactly. But it's just it's our upbringing. It's the way we're reared. So we're reared like that small. Then when we get older, that's just supposed to change. That's unrealistic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think that a man should not be allowed to show his emotions. Like I said, I lost my mom when I was 13. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, I still have times where I just cry. You know what I'm saying? I think it's been 28 years. It is what it is.
I was in the 8th grade.
I think that if you're going to, if you're seeing that, I personally now, I think that, man, listen, stop the conversation. Fall back. Sometimes you just have to be quiet. You know what I mean? Talk. Most people talk at each other. And that's where the argument comes in. They don't talk to one another. And you have to close this and use these and actually listen. Pay attention.
Yeah,
most people hear because your ears work.
Yeah.
But this thing is the application of.
Right. And also, Doc, Trevor, and King Mel, men have to understand that when you meet a woman at a certain place, say a nightclub, just out and about, you got to understand what type of woman that you're dealing with. The most important thing is to get to know that woman.
Okay.
And it's going to take more than a month to get to know, well, this is a woman I want to bring around my family. This is a woman. I need to find out more about you.
Absolutely.
Now, you're happy now, but when you get upset, how do you act?
Absolutely.
When you're upset. See, anybody can be on solid foundation, on solid ground when everything is going peachy keen. A lot of Christians, we pray a lot when everything is going fine. We'll lag from prayer because everything's going great. But wait till something go wrong. Then, we searching and looking for God. Same thing in a relationship. If a man meets a woman and he don't know anything about that woman, you setting yourself up for just about anything.
Absolutely.
And that anger or something that she does can drive you to the point where you just want to strangle her and wring her neck. And I'm going to go ahead.
I want to go with some comments, and then I'm going to give the floor to Trevor, because I want you to go ahead and get Arthur Johnson, Artie says, why have you not seen your son in 5 years? Was it because she moved? You are the man, and you should demand you see your children. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is going on between you and her. It's about the child. Alicia Jones says, what does that have to do with the topic of black men murdering and dismembering black women on a daily basis. I'm not sure which one you were talking about, but
He's talking about
not him, Alicia. Angie says that that's the problem. We raise our kids not to deal with their emotions. I feel you. Well, our sons, I don't do that. I want them to express when they're hurt, sad, or upset. Hey, King Robert is watching. Ralph
King
Todd, that's
Robert.
one of my best friends from when I was a shorty. Because a lot of men don't deal with rejection well. Hence, you have abuse and acid thrown in women, etc. Go ahead. No, I want to give the floor to Trevor.
No, go ahead, Mel. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to answer
you
the
want
question.
to answer
I was
already?
answer this question.
Kind
I
of keep it
haven't
short
seen
because we want
I
Trevor
haven't
to
seen
be
my
able to
son
go
in the 5 months because she just won't allow it. I don't know where she's at. She's here in Atlanta, but I don't know where she's at, and she just won't allow it. And rather than for me to try and drag my son through the system, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the time, get my money right, and next time she talk, I'm going to lean over and talk to a lawyer, and let the lawyer tell the judge and whoever else whatever he needs to tell her, because I'm not going to do that, you know. But go ahead.
So, okay, just for the record, in case anybody cares, I have 2 little children in Japan that I haven't seen for 7.5 years.
Wow. Right.
7.5 years. And when I was in Japan, my wife and I got divorced. You know, I have a Japanese ex-wife. We got divorced. She got custody of the kids. I spent the first 2 or 3 years fighting the judicial system there in Japan, fighting with my wife, fighting with her family, angry, stalking, doing a lot of crazy things.
Yeah.
But you know what I did?
Yeah.
I left. I left Japan to
Right.
get my peace. I came back to my country and I found my peace.
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
is one of
Yeah.
the solutions that I think that a man can undertake when he's going through a situation
Finding
where he
your
feels
peace.
out of control.
Yeah.
Leave.
Yeah.
Leave the situation.
Yeah.
You in an
Yeah.
argument with your wife, y'all are yelling and screaming. You see, like you said, the anger level going up and up and up.
Yeah.
You notice that. Be vigilant enough about your own emotions to
Right.
just leave. Be out. Bounce.
Definitely.
Because the
Agreed.
longer you stay there, the more you throw in gas on the fire. So what I'm talking about right
know,
now is
yeah.
what I think are solutions to this situation
right.
where men get too angry, lose control, and go berserk and do something crazy.
Right. Yeah.
One of the solutions is,
Absolutely.
brother, if you feeling that crazy,
Yeah.
bounce. Be out.
Yeah.
Another solution, call your boy. You mentioned calling your father and getting some advice from your father. Maybe your father talking you down off the ledge. Call somebody.
Yeah.
A lot of times we get into situations as brothers or as men, period, where we get too angry and find ourselves locked up in an anger closet. You look to the left, you see anger. You look to the right, anger. All you have all around you is anger. Call somebody. Call your father.
Call somebody
your mother, Call
wise.
your friend.
Because
True.
if you call the wrong person,
The wrong person
yeah,
might
just
send
call
you
somebody
up the
else.
ledge.
Definitely call
Call your
somebody
boy,
wise.
you be like,
I would
crack her
say,
head wide open.
Exactly.
yeah, I say and also do things like I would just sometimes I leave and go play pool because I like to play pool, or I might go out. I might just go out and what you don't want to do is please do not start drinking when you get angry.
No.
that's
Yeah.
going to escalate it.
Yeah.
But sometimes I go sit back and I would just put my headphones in or whatever. I put them on and I would just listen to meditation music. I just relax. I focus. I close my eyes. Hell, I might even just go in there and take a shower and take a nap.
I
Period.
try to change the
Wake
subject.
up and then
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
Let's just talk to one another. I'm gonna listen because I need to know what I'm doing to frustrate you that has you to this point. What is the solution that we can come up with together that's gonna be, it's gonna be effective for both of us? 'Cause I don't want to lose you.
men and women
don't want to. Come on.
Men and
Like,
women speak different languages. I think
They do.
that women speak in ideals and men speak in actions.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when we say, I want to walk over there, they want to know why we want to walk over there. And just that we don't know all that. We just know we want to walk over there. So a lot of the questions that they're asking, we're not prepared to answer.
Right.
And a lot of things that they see in it, we don't see in it. We just see that one actionable term that we stated.
Right.
So when they go and they seeing all the rest of the stuff, we don't have a way to combat that. We don't have a way to, and it frustrates us,
Yeah.
especially because we feel like, okay, you're doing something or you're putting stuff in
Yeah.
my words that I didn't intend. And it gets frustrating.
Absolutely.
But I'll try to change the subject, or I'll just sit and stare or something, because like you said earlier, two people yelling at each other, nobody's listening.
there's nothing
I
for you.
have done some prison and jailhouse ministry.
So you went to prison?
And I've done ministry, and when I would, when they would bring me into the room, and they would bring about 30 guys in, and all 30 guys were there for domestic violence. They had a domestic violence floor. And when the majority of the guys come in, all of them, hey, preacher, thank you for coming. I'm like, you know, hey, what you here for? Man, I got mad and slapped my old lady, or I grabbed her, or I pushed her. Because that's all it takes is a push now.
Yes. You can
push.
yell. You can yell in front of a child, and that's
Yeah.
considered child abuse, and you can go to jail for that.
So now they're looking at money that has to be spent on, because you got to pay for domestic violence classes, you know, probationary periods, you know, just a whole lot of stuff from their anger factor, and just like Trevor said, finding that inner peace, woosah.
One thing that I don't understand about women is a woman will know they're smaller than a man, but will still challenge him physically. I don't understand that to save my life. You know this guy's much bigger than you physically, but you want to do all this. I don't get that. That makes no sense to me.
Well, you know what? That goes back to what King Lundy said earlier, which is make a good choice in the woman that you're spending time with. A lot of brothers looking at the wrong things.
She find it there, but then you know she was crazy.
Exactly.
You want someone because I'm telling you, communication is key. If you don't know something, there's nothing you can do about it, right? But as a man, you should be able to talk to your lady. You should be able to sit down and communicate with her, and she should be able to do the same thing to you. If she can't communicate with you because you're always angry or you're always walking around with a chip on your shoulder or something, you're gonna lose that woman. And for women, the same thing. If you walk around with an attitude, you're trying to mock, or talk bad about the man. Oh, we don't have this, and you ain't. You know what I mean? Stop doing that. Instead of telling them what y'all don't have, come up with a plan together so you guys can achieve this goal that you see that you want to set. It doesn't matter.
I think people go into things with expectations, and I feel like you really can't. Because you get to know somebody, and you get to know somebody that you can gel with, and that you can create and share life with. Because you don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know which way you're going to go, up or down. But I should know that regardless of up or down, I got you. You know, you got me. Regardless of what's going on, I'm going to do my best to make sure that you're provided for, that you're safe, that everything I can do to help you, I'm going to. And
as you get to know her, though, right?
Exactly. But
you can't do that for everybody.
That's in getting to know her.
Yeah, getting to know her.
In getting to know her. Right. No, when I start with a woman, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Okay. Once I decide that this is who I'm going to commit to, I'm all in.
How long does it take you to say I'm all in? I'm all in.
I don't know. I don't have a time period. It's through the conversation.
It's a feeling.
It's through it's through the conversation. It's through how she responds to me, how I respond to her.
You know what's crazy? People do stuff. I seen it was a couple got married. They met, and 2 weeks later, they got married, and they've been married since then. No cheating, no anything. Yeah. It's what you want to commit to.
It can happen.
Exactly.
If you are just like me right now, if I'm in a relationship and I'm trying to commit to that relationship, I haven't eaten meat for almost 2 years. If I can commit to not eating meat for almost 2 years, I'm gonna stop. Boom, and I did it. There it is. If I'm going to commit to that relationship, I can do the same thing in the relationship. It's what your determination is. If your determination factor isn't there, then it's destined to fail.
It has to be both sides.
Yeah.
It really does.
It does.
A person can drive you away from him. A woman can drive a man away from her, and a man can drive. Now, the topic was violence, though. The thing about us is we are violent in nature. Men are dominant. We're the hunters. We're this, that, and the other. So that's what we are. That's how we conquer. We don't sit and talk. I don't want to talk you down. I want to black your eye if you bother me. Now, with my woman, that's not acceptable. That's not going to happen. So in order to talk her down, I have to learn to listen a lot more to try to understand where she's coming from to where I can try to understand and respond.
Question for you.
Please.
Is it okay to have that same propensity for violence with dudes? You just said if you're talking to a dude and he's disrespecting you, being insulting to you, or what have you, you want to black his eye. Is that okay?
Are you asking me personally?
Yes.
It depends on what he does. At times, yes.
Okay. So tell me a situation where you're in a verbal argument, strictly verbal, and you get to the point where you feel like you want to black this guy's eye. Give me a situation where it's okay for you to act out in violence to someone who has not acted out in violence to you.
Okay is a is a self thing, okay? The thing that I see okay, you may not. But if I'm standing here and my lady's sitting here, right, and we're conversing or whatever, and you and I get into some kind of whatever conversation, as long as we keep it about you and I, then 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to, eventually I'm going to cut it off because I don't care enough to argue with most people. But if you turn your attack toward her, then it is what it is.
Verbally. If I turn my attack towards her verbally.
If you disrespect my woman, it's on. What happens, happens.
Yeah.
So and that's how I feel. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right in feeling that, but I'm saying that that's me, and that's how I'm going to respond. Okay. And that's just who I am. I don't see it changing. And if I have to go to jail or to hell or whatever else, okay, that's what it is. What it is. But nobody will treat my woman badly in front of me. That's just not going to happen.
I think that even for me, it's more if you put your hands on me. Now I can just, if I see that shit, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna walk off, because if I stand there, I know that altercation is coming. But if I just go ahead and walk off, it's better that way, because one time, I'm just telling you, I can't let you just hurt me. So yeah, I'm gonna walk off.
I'm an older man too, so I shouldn't be out there fighting. I want to get to some of these comments, but we out of time. We're supposed to be. I'm gonna read until we go off the air, if that's cool with y'all. If I get cut off, know that I was trying. Because a lot of men don't deal with rejection well. Hence, you have abuse or accident. Okay, we saw that. 7 years. Okay, unfortunately, a child suffers when a parent is missing, and once they find out that their mom was the reason that they didn't see you, it's not going to be pretty. I feel you on that one. The trust is gone, and they will resent their mothers. P.S. Hudson says, peace and peace come from God. You can't buy peace. I feel you on that one. Call on Jesus first. Well,
absolutely.
Angie says, choices, man. Choices. Thank y'all for joining us on Talk Show Kings.
Yes. From King Mel. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Always my kings right here, King Lundy.
Absolutely.
King Lundy.
Thank you for tuning in to a wonderful show. I would be remiss if I sit here and didn't give shouts out to a wonderful day that I had. I was on a program in Macon, Georgia this morning, to my wonderful cousin, Minister Carla Houston, evangelist. You did an awesome job. To the pastor and first lady of that church, thank you so very much for welcoming me there. I had a wonderful time. To my mother, Geneva Lundy, this is all possible because of you. And to my wonderful wife, Natalia, I love you so much. And to my entire family, thank you so much.
King Trevor.
Peace and blessings, family. Go slow. Take a deep breath. It's going to be all right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Family, I'd like to say thank y'all for watching. To all my military brethren, be careful, watch your battle buddy, because suicide is up, and we need to make sure that we're watching out for each other. I ain't got none but love and respect for you. To baby girl, you my heart, and I just hope you know how much I love you. To my daughters, I love you, and to the ones I haven't seen, I love you and I miss you. To my father, Kenneth Moore, thank you for making me who I am. To my mother, thank you for giving me the silly that you gave me. I want to give another shout out to the guy in the back, Mr. Felix Washington.
Absolutely, Felix.
And to Cassandra Barksdale. We'll see you when we see you. Y'all have a great one. Till next Sunday.
Peace.
Peace.
For sure. Good show, fellas.
What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of Talk Show Kings. Oh, I'm not king at all.
Hold on, D. Joe Biden?
D. Joe Biden.
And the thing about what the CDC is saying now is that once these tests are allocated to the people that need the test, those numbers are going to skyrocket it.
We can do that. Hey, you can go to Egypt, but you better have your little black ass back on this point. And stand like that street light come on, you ain't there. If I give my woman 100%.